dream I know deep up my feelings for you.
Amidst the fuel subsidy, Atiku charges President Bola Tinubu to stop deceiving Nigerians. Moving on, we have the organized labor has dismissed the claim by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio that their recent nationwide strike amounted to economic sabotage. But guys, before we commence fully, welcome back to this wonderful channel. We bring you back-to-back updates and information as they hot. In case it's your first time of joining this wonderful channel, kindly subscribe, like, comment, share, and also the notification bell to get notified whenever we drop our video. To all our amazing subscribers, thank you so much for joining us on today's news. To all our viewers out there, thank you so much for joining us on today's news. So guys, let's proceed with the news. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar urged President Bola Tinubu to stop deceiving Nigerians about his administration's true position on fuel subsidy. Atiku Abubakar said this in a statement in Abuja yesterday. He explained that, contrary to President Bola Tinubu's public posturing about removing fuel subsidy, that President Bola Tinubu administration has been secretly paying trillions of naira as subsidy on premium motor spirit petrol. The former vice president, who was the presidential candidate of the People Democratic Party (PDP) in the 2023 election, noted that subsidy payments under President Bola Tinubu's watch is likely to hit 5.4 trillion this year, 2024. You guys can recall that President Bola Tinubu, at his inauguration on May 29, 2023, announced the abolishment of the subsidy on PMS, popularly known as fuel. Atiku Abubakar said, ever since, it has been a bragging right of President Bola Tinubu and his official of his administration, saying that they've removed fuel subsidy, meanwhile they are secretly paying subsidy. And it's about to hit 5.4 trillion. Atiku Abubakar had in his statement saying that he has started reviewing the 1 year of President Bola Tinubu's administration, and he has urged the government to come out clean on the actual position of the subsidy policies. That was his exact words. He said that the government should provide clarity on the fuel subsidy regime, including the fiscal commitment and benefit from the fuel subsidy reform and the impact of this on the federation account. Because it is curious that since April 2024, fuel queues have mounted at many fuel stations across Nigeria, and the infamous black market has sprouted in several states. So how much PMS is being imported and distributed, and at what cost? So what is the implicit subsidy? If the subsidy regime had been characterized by opaqueness, so what would they say of a situation where the subsidy is still being paid under the cover without Nigerians knowing? Like millions of Nigerians was shocked to learn through media report that the government is still supporting downstream consumption. Now, we all know that expenditure on fuel subsidy may reach 5.4 trillion in 2024 compared to the 3.6 trillion spent in 2023. The same year that President Bola Tinubu claimed to have abolished fuel subsidy. So Atiku Abubakar said that he wished to restate that Nigeria is not working, and what we have had in over a year now is a cocktail of trial and error economic policies. Paying subsidy and lying about it is nothing to brag about. That is what Atiku told President Bola Tinubu, that Nigerians deserve better than this deception. Honestly, these governments are really endangering some person's life, because during Muhammad Buhari regime, things were hard, but not like this. I think we can even afford most of the things at that time. But now, some persons can barely afford most of the things that have been sold in the market. First time in office, during his time he was delivering his inauguration speech on May 25, 2023. That was when President Bola Tinubu surprised many Nigerians by declaring that subsidy is gone. Without wasting more time, there was a skyrocket increase in the price of petrol from 180 to over 600. Now, petrol is being sold for 800 naira per litre. If black market is selling 1,000, so how would Nigeria cope? Not knowing that federal government is still paying subsidies on fuel despite the high price of commodity per litre. Hey, my people, now God go help us for this country. So guys, I would like to know your thoughts, your contributions, your opinions in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Let's make the conversation live in our comment section. Moving on to the next one. The organized labor has dismissed claim by the Senate President Godswill Akpabio that its recent nationwide strike amounted to economic sabotage. So they are saying that the true economic saboteurs are those looting national resources, not the labor force. According to the organized labor, the Senate President subtitled threat that the Senate would move into executive section to address the issue of labor strike smacks of contempt for open and transparent debate, which ought to be the bedrock of parliamentary proceedings. So the Nigeria Labour Congress, in their statement by the head of information and public affairs, Benson Opar, insisted that for the past 25 years, that the political elite have willfully sabotaged Nigeria through acts of corruption and abuse of power, not the workers. So the Nigeria Labour Congress strongly refutes Senate President Senator Godswill Akpabio's recent claim that the indefinite nationwide strike by the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria constitutes economic sabotage. They said such accusations are baseless and deeply troubling for Nigeria patriots and democracy advocates. They said the strike initiated on June 3rd was in response to the federal government's refusal to conclude the nation minimum wage negotiations, reverse electricity tariff hike, and end discriminatory consumer classifications. So this illegally conducted strike reflects the frustration of Nigerian workers facing economic hardship and deteriorating working conditions. Now, Senator Godswill Akpabio's statement undermined the democratic principle that the Senate professes to uphold. The National Assembly, being the closest arm of government to the people, should understand the people's sentiment. This ought to guide their actions and pronouncements accordingly. Strikes are not only legal but a civic duty and is a critical tool for holding those in authority and power accountable. It is a democratic right that is essential for preventing dictatorship and social collapse. For the past 25 years, they are saying that the political elites are the one willfully sabotaging Nigeria through acts of corruption and abuse of power, not the workers. That the true economic saboteurs are those looting national resources, not the labor force. So they therefore urge the patriotic members of the Senate and the House of Representatives to distance themselves from these damaging remarks, because Nigerian workers have the constitutional right to strike in response to unfair labor practices, and the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress have exercised their rights lawfully. So the economic issue prompting the strike, like electricity tariff hike and unfair consumer classification, are burdens that exacerbate poverty and inequality, but from which the political elite are insulated. The Nigeria Labour Congress said that they will continue to advocate for fair economic policies and national minimum wage that is realistic, because labor union played a crucial role in restoring democracy to Nigeria, from which current lawmakers benefit. So they will not sabotage it. The Nigeria Labour Congress will still remain committed to protecting workers' rights and also call on government representatives to address the underlying issues leading to the strike through constructive dialogue and genuine effort to improve living standards instead of indulging in eye service criticism. The Senate President should be concerned about the militarization of purely trade union dispute instead of this unhelpful blame game. Let those who are inviting the military now remember when tomorrow comes. Nigeria's workers cannot operate under military condition. In a democracy, they have to resist this with everything they have. Doing this on time will avert another round of industrial crisis. So the Senate President subtitled threat that the Senate will move into executive section to address the issue of their strike's mark of contempt for open and transparent debate, which ought to be bedrock of parliamentary proceedings. They are calling on the Senate President to retrace his steps and know that he is the President of the Senate, not Chairman of the Supreme Military Council of Nigeria, because they are not intimidated by such unfortunate statements from the hallowed chamber of the Senate. So they expect due apologies if it was a slip, because any attempt to undermine legitimate labor action will not be accepted. So guys, I would like to know your thoughts, your contributions, opinions are in the comment section. I would love to hear from you. Once again, thank you so much for staying to us. On this note, we have come to the end of today's segment. Till I come your way next.